7-8 months passed. My father called me one day. He said, Sumit, why don't you go and do MBA? Very casually. Typical peak Punjab attitude is like, I always say I was an engineer, but that 3 Idiots thing, no, I was not a good engineer. Luckily, I landed up in a placement with Tech Mahindra. How did this love affair with recruitment start? It actually started during engineering days only, wherein I never aspired to get into HR field. Of course, I had taken up engineering as like we'll do coding and all of that back in 2007 and 8. I remember my first interview was with Infosys. From my college, only 10, 12 candidates got selected for the further rounds. So I cleared 1-2 rounds. And then there was the HR round, wherein it was like you'd speak in good English and all of that. And I was fairly confident on my communication skills, not overconfident, but fairly. Everything happens. I go through the interview round. And when the results come, everybody, my batch was very confident. Sumit, tera ho jayega. You speak good English, and it is HR round only. Why do you have to worry? Results come, finally, I do not get selected. I was like, what did he check? So that is where the curiosity began. Okay. My first encounter with an HR or recruiter, that is where the curiosity began. I got placed in my second organization, which is Tech Mahindra. But since as God has its own plans, recession came and my joining got postponed. With all of that, I said, what do? I took up a job in Chandigarh, any job which was there, just to wait, so that I did not want to be dependent on my parents for money and all of that. I said, I'll get my own pocket money. My engineering is over now. So it was a KPO sort of an atmosphere. I joined there. While there was a KPO role, the work was not much there. And that is where the HR over there reached out, can I help her in recruitment coordination? So she made me do coordination, and she taught me how to do sourcing on Naukri as well. Okay. That is where I got to know, okay, this is how you select candidates. I used to ask her, okay, what do you ask in HR rounds? I got rejected in one, I got selected in another. I answered almost same questions. How do you get judge and all of that? That is where that thing even got stronger in my head. Okay. I need to do this. Recession was continuing. The joining was getting delayed. 7-8 months passed. My father called me one day. He said, Sumit, why don't you go and do MBA? Very casually. Typical peak Punjab attitude is like, my friend's son has done MBA from XYZ college. He's earning decent. You also do that. Like, okay, let's do that. No interest and all of that. I said, I'll do. I appeared for a couple of exams. Engineers usually are decent at maths and all of that. With all these aptitude practice, I was able to get good score. Now that is where the scores came. They were decent. One thing was very clear in my head. I wanted to go into HR. Okay. Maybe the first impression and what I did in my stint in Chandigarh, that recruitment, I was like, I need to learn how this goes into detail and depth. Plus, HRs always have a fancy job. I'll be very candid with the audience. I want to do this. Everybody respects, everybody's like looking up to you and all of that. So I did my MBA in HR from Pune. After that, my first job was TCS. Okay. They say, you manifest certain things so much and it happens to you. And I strongly believe in manifestation.